Hi guys, today I'm gonna show you how to make a plan. Another word, how to make your own pattern for this beautiful crop top vest cardigan with beautiful cable. Okay, this is completely customized and size adjustable. So you can actually knit bigger size or smaller size as long as you know how to make a plan. Again, this is completely seamless. There's no seam, nothing at all. I'm going to just tell you the outline here. Okay? So this sweater start with top down only for back piece first. Start with shoulder line and knit down, and whenever you reach your desired length, increase both side. Okay, increase. Then whenever you finish increasing, hit your target, stop right there and transfer all the stitches onto scrap yarn. Okay, and then come back top part. Top part, you still need to do a little bit for back piece because I am going to divide by 3, 2 shoulder and 1 neck, and then creating a little bit of the curve right there. So after you divide by 3, decrease side of the neck, okay, to create the little curve. Then start front piece. Just knit, okay, with the cable design if you want, until your desired length for your neck. Then add a little bit of stitch right there to create the curve. Then add in the new cast to close. Well, you know, this is not the vest, so I'm gonna actually add new cast each side. Then still knit, and whenever you hit the desired length, which is same as back piece, increase, just like back piece. Then whenever you finish the increasing, add new cast. Connect back and front right there. So after you connect, it's gonna be one piece and knit back and forth because this is not sweater or vest. This is cardigan. So, and after that, add in the rib everywhere, including the button rib. That's about it. And as you can see, the front piece is a little bit smaller than back because of the cable design. Okay, but nothing wrong with it. And I measure myself, and this is, you know, good size for me. If you don't like fitted, you know, vest, you should maybe, you know, find the bigger measurement, something like that. So let's move on to making pattern. Right. So let me use my PowerPoint to explain how to make a plan. And before I start, I want to mention a few things. Number 1, as you already know, I'm going to add some cables only for front piece, which means front piece gets slightly smaller than back piece. Example, my front piece is an inch smaller than back piece, but it was okay for me because I knew I'm going to add some buttonhole rib out front and everything. But for you, I don't know, if you want to knit perfect size, you might want to knit sample with the cable design and make sure, you know, how much it will get smaller. Okay. And second, this is completely customized, so you can use any needle, any yarn you want. However, if you are using much bigger needle and much bigger yarn, you will get the less stitch count. Okay, so you might not be able to use same cable as mine. Depend on the sizes you're knitting. Okay, and I will talk about the cable later. Okay, and next, to make a plan, you have to measure. I need 6 measurement, and according to your measurement and based on my gauge, you have to do little math. If you have my gauge formula, you don't have to do the math. Okay, my template does pretty much everything. But if you don't have my gauge template, you have to do your math all by yourself. But it's easy, just a ratio math, and I put all the formula in this video. So as long as you follow my instruction, you can find out your number easily. Or there are some gauge calculator online. I don't have it, so you have to Google it and use those calculator online to find out your numbers. Okay, so lastly, please watch this video until the end. All right, and if you don't understand, if you need my help to make your plan, please leave the comment section below. Okay, some people try to reach me through the messenger and Instagram. That's fine, but I don't open my SNS very often, not every day. So the fastest way to reach me is YouTube comment. Okay, and one more thing, if you want me to help you with your plan, okay, don't just ask me, okay, I want to knit large size, what am I supposed to do, what's my number? No, you have to do your thing, like knitting the swatch, take a gauge and measurement, and put the numbers I need to make plan for you. Okay, then I will help you. All right, so that's pretty much all. Okay, so let me explain for the page 1. Okay, it says knit your swatch and take a gauge, which means you have to know your knitting tension. So you have to knit bigger than 4 by 4 inches or 10 by 10 centimeter sample square, and all you have to do is count every stitches within 4 inch across and every stitches within 4 inch in height. And I want to make sure the stitches across, it's stitches. Okay, stitches in height, it's rows. Okay, so I have 34 stitches within 4 inch across and 46 rows within 4 inch height. Please don't mix up. Okay, if you mixed up with the stitch count and row count, you ruin your plan. Okay, so make sure stitches across, rows, height. Okay, and let's move on to next page. Okay, page 2. Let's measure. As I told you, with this project, I'm going to start with back piece only. Okay, and this is top down sweater, so I have to know how many cast on to start with. So you have to measure back, shoulder to shoulder. I use my t-shirt to get an idea. That doesn't mean you have to use this number. Okay, I said desired length. So if you want to knit bigger size than t-shirt, go ahead. If you want to knit smaller than your own t-shirt, pick a number. Okay, I actually use my t-shirt, but I want to knit smaller than this t-shirt because this t-shirt was a little bit too big for me. Okay, so my desired shoulder length without the rib, because I'm going to add rib later, was 13. And according to my formula, okay, my cast on number is 108. Okay, I want to actually mention one thing. The number you pick, every number, okay, has to be multiple of 2, which means even number. So if it's odd number, you have to add, or you have to, take 1 to make it even number, okay? And also, with this cast on, should be multiple of 3. So in other words, this has to be multiple of 6. But anyway, has to be even number, okay? And has to be multiple of 3, okay? And for the people who do the math all by yourself, here's the formula. And let me explain about this, formula, because it's worth to know. This is ratio math, okay? So it says ratio of 4-inch to 13-inch equal 34 ratio of 34 stitches to X stitches. Okay, so let me explain every single numbers here. Okay, 4, where they're coming from? Right here, swatch. My swatch size was 4-inch. I count, stitch count, width and 4-inch. So this 4, right? The left side, first number is your swatch size. And left side, second number is your design length, okay? And now right side, the first number of right side is swatch. So 4-inch, 34 stitches, because I'm talking about the across. So has to be stitches. But 34, your gauge, and then X stitches, which you don't know. So this means I have 34 stitches width and 4-inch. And what about how many stitches width and 13-inch? That's what this means. Okay, so you have to put your number exactly same as mine. Okay, just a different number. Okay, and the ratio math is, okay, multiply of these two inside of number. For me, 13 and 34 has to be same number as multiply of 2 outside number. So 13 times 34 has to be same number as 4 times X. Okay, so the X equal 13 times 34 inside 2 number divided by 4. The answer is 110. Okay, 110 is even number, but it's not multiple of 2. So I pick 108. All right, so let me actually show you with my formula after this, okay? Okay, so I open up my math gauge template, okay? I am going to input all my information here, okay? So in this red section, you have to put your swatch and gauge information. So let me do that here. So my swatch was 4-inch by 4-inch, so 4. It says 4-inch length across and height, okay? And then here, I have 34 stitches and 46 rows. There you go. That's it. And move on to this side of the section. And the first line, it says, find out stitch count from the length. So I know the length, 13, and I want to find out the cast on number. So this yellow section, I have to put my desired length. There you go, 13, and enter. So yellow section, go down, 110.5. But what did I say? Has to be even number and has to be multiple of 3, which is actually total of multiple of 6 anyway. But I have to find the number with the even number and multiple of 3. So let's go down, easy. Right here. It's already said 3, but I'm going to put the 3 here. So let's find out the number close to 110. Right here. 111. But this is not even number. So 108. This is the number I picked. Okay, so if I put the multiple of 6 here, enter. Let's go. Look for 108. There we go. 108. So one size bigger, multiple of 3, and then has to be even number is 114. And one size smaller is 102. So this formula is actually quite perfect. Okay, so that's how you use my formula. Okay, so let's move on next page, and I'm gonna leave the information here because I still need this formula. Okay, so second measurement is the height from top shoulder until end of the bottom of the armhole. Okay, so it's up to you. If you want to have a bigger armhole, you can actually measure a little longer. If you want to make the smaller armhole, you can actually measure right after your armpit. It's really up to you. But why, the length until the bottom of the armhole? Okay, let me tell you quick. I'm going to knit back piece and front piece separately. Okay, first I'm going to knit back piece only and then move on to front piece. However, this bottom of the armhole, when I reach, bottom of the armhole, I'm going to connect back and front to make it one piece. So this is the time I am going to connect. That's why I want to know the height here. You know what I'm saying? So my desired length height is 9 inch. And this time height, so rows. And according to my formula, 104 rows. Again, has to be even number. Every number has to be even number, okay? And these are the formula. And let me explain. Okay, 4 inch. This 4 coming from this 4 because rows. Well, it's same, so it doesn't really matter, but 4 inch. And this 9 is coming from my desired length equal. The first number of right side is compared to this 4. So 46 rows from my swatch and then X row because you don't know. So this formula means I have 46 rows within 4 inch. What about how many rows within 9 inch? And again, inside 2 number multiply has to be same number as multiply of 2 outside number. So X rows equal 9 times 46 divided by 4 is 104. So another word, I'm going to cast on 108 cast and knit 104 rows. Then I am going to connect front and back here. Okay, well, there's actually more to it, so I'm going to explain. Okay, but that's what I meant. Okay, and move on to my formula. Okay, so how to use my formula with rows. Okay, so these are my swatch information, and here the top one was stitch count, and the second one is find out row count from the length. This is the one I need, right? So I'm gonna put my desired length here, which was 9 inch, so I put 9 and enter. And this is orange section, so let's go down. Orange 103.5. Okay, so I pick even number and 104. That's it. Simple. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so measurement number 3 is widest part. Make sure this is, I'm talking about only back piece. Okay, so widest part is 18 inches. According to my formula, 154. And this has to be multiple of 2 as well. And these are the formula. Same. Okay, simple. And let's move on to next page. The reason why I had to find out the stitch count for widest part, number 3, is I want to find out how many stitches I have to increase towards to the widest part. You know what I'm saying? So simple. Number 3 minus number 1. That's how many stitches you have to increase. So for me, 154 minus 108 equal 46. And you have to divide it by 2 because you have to increase both sides. Okay? So here's the thing. I started with 108 and then knit, straight down. And whenever, you reach your desired length, I will talk about it later, you have to start increasing here and here to make it 154. You know what I'm saying? So you have to divide it by 2, and 46 divided by 2 is 23. So I'm going to increase 23 here and 23 here. And I want to tell you one more thing. This 23 include this increasing to create the curve. Also, I told you I am going to connect back and front and make it, one piece, right? The front and back. So when I connect back and front, I am going to add some stitch, the bottom of your armpit. Okay, so this connection stitch count is including in this 23. Okay, and then move on to next. Did you get that? 23 includes this curve increase, also the connection. Okay, all right, so now we have to decide when you want to start increasing. And I decide 2 inches before the bottom of the, armhole. And 2 inches actually good number, but you can adjust. Okay, so first of all, 2 inch, you have to know how many rows. Because if you know the rows you're going to increase, you know when to start. Okay, so the formula is here, and I want to find out row count. So ratio of 4 inch to 2 inch equal 46 rows to X rows. So the X is 23 rows. Actually, if it's 2 inch, 2 inch is actually half of the my swatch size. So you just have to divide by 46 divided by 2, so 23. So, but it says 24 rows because every number you pick has to be even number, because actually there are right side and wrong side. This is the reason, but maybe you don't need to know. It just has to be the even number. So you have to start increasing 24 rows before the end line. You know what I'm saying? And you want to increase 23 stitches within 24 rows, which means you increase 1 stitch every row. No, I am going to increase, okay, only on right side. So 24 rows include right side and wrong side, right? So you have only 12 rows for right side, which means here, I can only increase 12 stitches within 24 rows. Did you get that? Here, okay, I decide I want to start increasing 2 inch before the bottom line, which was 24 rows. But 24 rows consist right side and wrong side. And I only increase 1 stitch on right side, which is only half of this row. So I can only increase 12 stitches. But I have to increase 20 stitches to make it 154. The rest of them will be the connection part. So if you don't like this number because the connection part is way too many numbers, you might want to start increase 2.5 inches before or 3 inches before. It's really up to you. Okay, so let's move on to the next clip. So this is actually pretty much what I just explained. For me, I need to increase total of 23 stitches each side, and 2 inches before, which is 24 rows, and I increase 1 stitch on only right side. So total of 12 stitches I can increase to create the curve. So 23 minus 12 equal 11 stitches. This 11 stitch is my connection. But I'm talking about, okay, only back piece. And you do exactly same increase for front piece, which means I ended up adding 11 connection for back piece and 11 connection for front piece for each side. So each side, the connection stitch count is 22. 22. Okay, so let's move on to my formula. There we go. Back to the formula. And I want to make sure one thing, which is the connection part. Okay, I just said 11 stitches for back and 11 stitches for front. So the total connection stitch count is 11 plus 11, which is 22 stitch count. Is that too many or right number or too less? I usually add connection stitch count is maybe 1.5 inch worth or 2 inch. But 3 inches is okay too. Okay, so the third section, it says find out the length from stitch count. This is the one. So I'm going to put my total of the connection for one side. Stitch count is 22. And green section, so let's go down to green right here. The 22 total stitch count will be about 2.5 inches. So my connection part, which is the bottom of the armhole, the length is 2.5 inch, which is perfect for me. So this math, the plan is all good so far. Okay, so the third section is when you wanna find out the length from the stitch count, right here, to make sure. Okay, and this connection part, it doesn't really matter. You know, if you wanna make it longer or bigger, go ahead. You know, you don't really have to worry about too much. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so now we know how many stitches and how many rows you want to increase for this carve and connection part. And now I want to find out exactly when I'm going to start increasing. Okay, well, my total length, this height is 9 inch, and I want to start about 2 inches before, right? Which means I have to knit 7 inch and then start. Whenever you follow somebody else's pattern, usually they said, okay, if you knit certain inches, like 5 inches, example, you start increasing or decreasing. Okay, why they don't tell you, you know, rows, which is easier. Okay, when you knit 10 rows, why don't you increase? That'll be easier, right? Because you don't have to, you know, check how many inches you knit. That's because everybody has different tension, right? Even though they're knitting same size, because of the different knitting tension, everybody has different rules to start. However, this is your pattern. This is complete customized. And if you take a gauge, you should know. Even though if you're following somebody else's pattern and it says 5 inches, then increase, you can do the math and you can find out the rows you have to knit and start, increasing. You know what I'm saying? So the take a gauge and to find out the numbers, it's quite important and easier for you later on. Okay, so let me actually tell you, my height, total my height is 9. And 2 inch before the end, I want to start increasing, which means I'm going to knit 7 inch and start increasing. But I already know the total of the row count, which is 104 rows. I already figured it out, right? Number 2. And I already figured it out how many stitches I have to increase with zun. How many rows? 24 rows. So simple. 108 minus 24 equal 80. So I am going to knit straight 80 rows. And on the 81st row, I'm going to start increasing. And whenever I knit 104th row, next row will be connection, which is 11 for back and 11 for front. That's it. Okay? Super simple. But it helps you later on. Now, back piece has done. So I'm going to move on to front piece. Okay, so the measurement number 4 is each side of the shoulder. Do you remember I told you the first cast on number should be multiple of 3 because of this front shoulder. Okay, this could be, okay, cast on number divided by 3. 2 shoulder and 1 neck. You can make, the same number here. So 108 divided by 3 is 36 stitches. So I can actually divide 36, one shoulder, 36 neck opening, and 36 the other side of the shoulder. There you go. However, I want to make neck opening slightly bigger because I have to, add rib. Also, I don't like too small, neck opening. So I ended up decide 30 stitches, both shoulder, and 48 stitches for the neck opening. Okay. And one thing I want to mention, okay, you are going to lose 4 stitch here. 4 stitch here. So ended up the shoulder start with this number minus 4. Okay, because I am going to create little, neck opening curve here. I will talk about that later. So you have to, think about some stitches. If you're using, the same needle and same yarn, you lose 4 stitches each side. So ended up the shoulder stitch count would be 26 stitches. Okay, that's all you have to remember. You don't have to if you don't want to. This is kind of option. So you kind of have to think about that. And let me actually move on to next page, which is this is according to the length. Okay, this is the formula. Okay, measure the shoulder part without the rib, and I decide 3.5 inches, which is actually not divided by 3. Okay, make the neck opening bigger. So I picked the 3.5 because my desired length was 13. 13 divided by 3 is 4 point something. So obviously the neck opening is bigger than shoulder. Okay, and according to the formula, this would be 30. Okay, and this is the formula. Okay, easy. Okay, so measurement number 5, the height of your neck opening. Simple. So I'm not gonna, talk about it too much. I decide 3 inch. And after 3 inch, I'm going to increase a little bit here to create the neck curve. Okay. So this part is just before the neck curve. Okay. If this part is longer, which means bigger opening. If you don't like the bigger neck opening, you can do 1 inch or 2 inch. It's up to you. So my desired length here is 3 inch, 36 rows. This is the formula. Okay. So another word, you start knitting, okay, front piece, 36 rows, and then start increasing to create this curve. That's it. Okay, so now let me talk about the front neck increase, this curve. Okay, about 0.75 inches height. Okay, height. So, which is 8 rows. This is the formula. So I am going to knit 36 rows here, which is 3 inch, and then 8 rows to finish this curve. 8 rows, and same as this part, I only increase 1 stitch every right side. 8 rows is total, consist with the right side and wrong side, which means I only increase 8 stitches, 4 stitches total here, and this side too. Okay, so why I said 0.75? So if you're using, different, thickness of yarn or needle, this is the, kind of baseline, okay? Which means you don't really have to need too much to create the carve here, okay? So I find out the rows, how many total, and divide it by 2 because only right side increasing. So I'm going to increase 4 stitches here. Okay. Number 6, front, bottom. You don't need to measure here. Okay. You just do little math. So simple. You just want to find out new cast after the increasing. If this is the vest, this part would be new cast connection for the right and left shoulder. But this is cardigan, so I will find out the number here and divide it by 2. Okay, so simple. This shoulder stitch count, also this increased stitch count. Okay, you have to subtract from cast on number. Pretty much it. But anyway, I'm gonna actually do other way. This, okay, neck, 48 stitches altogether, right? And do you remember I said I'm gonna lose 4 stitch this side and the other side because I want to create the little curve. So 48 plus 8 stitch. Well, I lose 4 stitch here from the shoulder, right? So I took the 30 and ended up with 26. So I lose 4 stitch each shoulder, which means I create 4 stitch more space here. So that's why I add 8 stitch. Then I subtract 8 stitch. Why? Because now I have 56 stitch after I made the 4 stitch space here. However, I increase 4 stitch here and here. So I lose total of 8 from the neck opening. That's why subtract 8 stitch. So total is 48. Didn't change. And divided by 2 is 24. So after the increasing, I am going to add 24 this side and 24 this side. Okay? So let's go next clip. There you go. The cable. This is quite simple. I'm just telling you the shoulder cable, this cable, you need 16 stitches. Also, you need at least 1 stitch each side as background stitch, which should be purl on right side and knit on wrong side. So it says my shoulder has 30 stitches and minus 4. Do you remember what I just said? So total of 26. And my plan was 16 stitch the original cable plus 3 stitch each side outside of the cable, background stitch. So it's going to be more visible. And the total is 22. So I have 26 shoulder and now 22. So 4 stitches difference, right? Rest of them, all knit. Okay, it says everything else would be stockinette stitch, which is knit on right side and purl on wrong side. That's about it. And this is just, I want you to make sure you have enough stitch count. If you don't, you know what to do. And next, right here, front cable. This front cable, you need 13 stitches, plus at least 1 stitch each side as background. Same. Okay, so my front has 24 stitches. You know what I'm saying? I just add 24 stitches, right? That 24. So there we go. 13 stitches cable and 3 outside of the cable, total of 29. So there you go. I have enough stitches. So that's how you make sure about it. Okay. So making a plan, this is it. All right. So I am going to start knitting part, following all the numbers.